Welcome to Sapphire Ridge News. Yeah, I hope so. A person alleged to be a Palestinian terrorist shot up the Jewish Holocaust Jewish Holocaust Museum last night. Welcome to Sapphire Ridge News. You know, there all these people. Hello, how are you? We have, well, I would call it good news to talk about. But let's talk about the two shootings that happened. Well, the shooting that happened yesterday and then the incident at the CIA building. Apparently, from what I understand, they got, hold on. There, that'll shut up in a second. Apparently, they took out the woman at the CIA building. I don't know if she was unalived or what. She was trying to bust through the entrance, and there was a terrorist event at the Jewish Holocaust Museum last night. A Palestinian terrorist shot two people, which that's just disgraceful. They need to deport all these Palestinians with terrorist ties. Yeah, two Jews were killed. And I was working on today's subject. Apparently, Tish James, gave a speech over the weekend in which she basically confessed during the speech. She started out by saying that it was political retribution, and then she said, yes, I signed that I would be a resident of Virginia, even though that was not true, could not possibly be true because I'm a resident of New York. I had a power of attorney. And she went through this whole spiel where she basically admitted to everything that they're saying that she did. It's like, psh, right? These people. She's trying to raise money for her legal defense, I guess, but giving a speech in where you confess is not wise counsel, right? She went through the whole litany of what they're saying that she did and said, yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did this. But that's not against the law. It's like, yes, it is. She's trying to say that because she put down on the previous documents that that she was not a resident of Virginia and would not be one, that absolves her from what she put on the closing documents. It's like, no, the closing documents are what takes precedent. I bought property before. The closing documents take precedent. Anything you wrote beforehand after you signed the closing document doesn't matter. It's like, geez, these people, right? Craziness. Yeah. Pam Bondi apparently said this morning that the not the custody, the suspect in the shooting last night is in custody. Yeah. No, she can't. They had a hearing about it this morning. And Representative Andrew, he's from New Jersey, but he switched from Democrat to Republican. And he is not happy about what she did, even being a former Democrat. He said, and he showed the videotape of what she was doing. He said, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. He said, the law states that you must call and get an appointment at least 24 hours in advance. And that when you show up, that you will be escorted in the building. You cannot rush the gate and try and make your own way in. I heard about that. I was reading that at one of my appointments this morning. I was reading about that. It's like, what the hell? Craziness, right? Yeah. Democrats only know violence and cheating is right. My people are wise. Excuse me. To do evil, to do good, they have no knowledge. Yeah, I was mad at the neighborhood cats this morning. I was mad at my aide this morning. My aide came yesterday, and when the aides leave, they're supposed to take the trash from on the deck and put it in the trash can out front. She didn't do that. I didn't go outside after she left, so I didn't know she didn't do that. This morning I went out there and the neighborhood cats got in the trash and scattered it all over my deck. I was pissed. Oh, okay. So you live right between Coronado and Brownfield? Yeah, they do. But luckily, knock on wood, I have not seen a single raccoon in my neighborhood since I moved up here. Yeah, raccoons are are awful. I don't get mad at you and and Julianne. You're my audience. Why would I get mad at my audience, right? You are the two that show up all the time. Others come and go, but you two are there all the time, and I appreciate it very much. So, yeah, the fake news, they're still screaming about Trump confronting uh, the president of South Africa yesterday. And the president of South Africa said it wasn't that bad. Yeah, I wish the people on X would chime in and say, hey, something, right? My ad usually entails a lot of cussing and swearing and calling people stupid. Yeah, but I knew he wasn't going to go home with any money because he tried to say that, you know, no farmers are getting unalived, and that's just clearly not true. Whether it's the opposition party that's doing it or not, it is happening. And the fake news is trying to say, oh no, you know, it's all made up. It's not happening. What a bunch of baloney. I read Simon Ateba, I think his name is pronounced, on X. That guy is fake news. But I read him because I can interact back with him, interact with other commenters. He used to be really fairly conservative, and now he's right up there with the looniest liberals. And the big, beautiful bill passed. They voted on it this morning, and it passed 215 to 214. Some of these reporters, I swear they get their brains from a Cracker Jack box, right? Yeah. And, I've read articles of how the farmers are being killed. It's just atrocious. Yeah, he did. It's just atrocious. They're cutting their heads off and leaving them in the ditches. That's not okay. That is not okay. And I understand that the black people want to own property, but stealing the property by unaliving the owner in such a fashion here, you would end up in jail with murder charges. Yeah, it's sickening. And for the president of South Africa saying, "Oh, where is this happening at?" He's either lying or he's stupid, right? One or the other. Trump held up 24 newspaper articles of what was happening, how they were being unalived, pictures of the bodies, pictures of the cars lined up alongside of the road by paying paying respect to the thousands of white crosses. Yeah, torturing kids in front of their parents. They learned that from Rwanda. They started doing that in Rwanda, and it's moving south. That's what's there's a terrorist group that was in Rwanda and the Congo. I can't think of their name right off, but they torture the kids in front of the parents, and they unalive the kid and then unalive the parent. That's the kind of stuff they were doing on October the 7th in Israel. That, I read the reports. Some of them are so gruesome I can't talk about them on this channel. I can talk around it so you can get an idea. You know, one of the things that they did was rip the babies from the mother's arm and then put them in the oven. Putting a child in an oven and making the mother watch is beyond repugnant. And all these people that are saying, you know, feel sorry for the Palestinians, blah, blah, blah. Well, they should have to watch that video. They should have to go and talk to the coroner, the female coroner that described what was done. Well, I didn't mean to cross a line, but it's important that we understand that gross things happen. You know, I'm not in favor of any of this, but things happen. I do apologize if it offended you in any way. Yep. You have to identify the issues. We can't walk around with our head in the sand and be like, well, if it didn't happen right in front of me, it didn't happen. Well, what? That's not okay. You know what I mean, Zach? We can't sit here and stick our heads in the sand and pretend this stuff doesn't happen, because it does happen. And while I don't condone any of it, we have to recognize that evil lurks. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at her. She apparently didn't want to hear about that, but we can't. What I'm trying to make is that there's correlations for what is happening in South Africa, because it came from the terrorist group in Rwanda, which is an offshoot, which has splinters, rather, I guess would be the right word, of from Iran. The terrorists in Palestine were taught by Iran. It all correlates, is what I'm trying to say. It's all evil. It's evil. Yeah, I know she'll be back. You and her are my two faithful followers. All right, that's all I got for y'all today. I will be back here tomorrow. Take care, Zach. Bye for now.